How are you guys doing? Today is Monday, January 18th, 2021, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, following the conclusion of yesterday's divisional playoff matchups, the NFL has been cut. The pool for teams that are competing for the Super Bowl has been cut down to 4 teams, and I'm just going to walk you through each matchup as we prepare for January 24th, as 4 teams are going to compete for the 2 slots to face off against one another in Tampa Bay for the Super Bowl this year. So, just to walk you through each matchup, I'm going to start with the NFC because that's the first game that's going to be played. At 3:05, the NFC Championship game will be in Lambeau Field. So the home team will be the Green Bay Packers, the first seed in the NFC, of course, being led by their GOATed quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, who's having an MVP season. They skipped the first round with the bye because they had the best record in the NFC, and in the divisional round, they were able to beat the Los Angeles Rams pretty handily, 32-18, as Aaron Rodgers was able to put the team away with almost 300 yards of offense, and he was able to attack them in so many different ways, and the Packers defense looked incredibly strong against Jared Goff. And just going into this game, this will be the first time that Aaron Rodgers has ever hosted an NFC Championship game in Lambeau, which is going to be incredibly big to his legacy. So the Packers, even though they've only played 1 game in the playoffs up until now, they have a lot riding on this game. And I have no doubt in my mind that the Packers are going to just destroy and have a pretty and just really make the most of this opportunity. I mean, just looking at how they performed, even their elite wide receiver Devontae Adams has been able to deal with all the double teams that he's been faced with, and he's been able to thrive. Same with Aaron Jones in the running game through the air. I think the Packers are a very dangerous team, especially if they're going to be at home. And especially considering they're going to face a very warm weather team. And that very warm weather team that they're going to face are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are the 5th seed in the NFC, or the best team in the wild card. After Tom Brady coming here in his first season, helping the Buccaneers make the playoffs, the Buccaneers would go on to win their wild card matchup against the Washington football team 31-23. And in this matchup, Tom Brady threw for nearly 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. Leonard Fournette ran for almost 100 yards on the ground, and Mike Evans was electric through the air. Levante David was soaring on both sides in the defense, and Tampa Bay was looking incredibly strong, and they secured a spot in the next round where they would face off against the New Orleans Saints, their division rivals, the first team that would ever sweep Tom Brady in the regular season, as in beat him in both division matchups. And in last night's matchup, Tom Brady ended up being the better quarterback in that matchup, throwing for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. Being able to spread the love around, being able to get Leonard Fournette to be a dynamic player, getting 100 total yards of offense. And then on the defensive side, you had Devin White, the linebacker out of LSU, just playing on all sides of the ball. Jason Pierre-Paul doing his thing. And they were able to upset one of the best teams in football in their stadium with their fans. That was a very big feat to do, and considering it's Tom Brady, I mean, it's nothing new. It's nothing I should be surprised about, but all I'm saying is that the team that the Packers are going to face, the Buccaneers, this is going to be a very interesting matchup because Tom Brady is a player that simply doesn't go away, and the Packers are looking like an unstoppable force right now. I think personally it's going to come down to whose defense is going to allow the least amount of points. And in this case, I think the Packers defense is going to hold the Buccaneers to less points than the Buccaneers hold the Packers. So if I were to guess, I think the Packers would be the team to make it out the NFC Championship, but I would never bet against Tom Brady, knowing what Tom Brady has done and seeing what Tom Brady has done this year and in past years. So that sets me up for the AFC Championship matchup. It'll be in Kansas City, and so Kansas City is going to host the Buffalo Bills, and the Buffalo Bills are going to come into this matchup as the 2nd seed after being the 2nd team with the Chiefs to overcome the Pittsburgh Steelers after their 11-0 start to the season. They were able to overtake the Pittsburgh Steelers for that spot in the division. And in their first matchup, they would go on to face off against the Indianapolis Colts in the very first playoff game. This game would end up being very close, but it would be the Buffalo Bills' elite quarterback Josh Allen that would make the difference. He would throw for 324 yards and then rush for about 54, and then he would have he would have all 3 touchdowns on the game be attributed to him, and their defense did whatever they could to stop Indy's incredible running game, and they were able to pull out a very, very big win so they could host their very next game, which would come against the Baltimore Ravens on Saturday. And in that game, they were able to hold the Baltimore Ravens' incredible offense led by the 2019 NFL MVP to 3 points. Especially grabbing a 101-yard pick six, taking that to the house, and showing how strong of a team that they are. They have a lot of momentum. They're a very great roster top to bottom, but of course the team that they're going to be facing is probably them, but just no. I mean, it's they're kind of looking at themselves, but a little bit better. So the Kansas City Chiefs ended up with the best record in the AFC. They won the AFC by so much that they could sit their players in the last game. I mean, Patrick Mahomes had a 14-1 starting record as the starting quarterback. And after their first bye, they were able to beat the Cleveland Browns 22-17 at home. As Patrick Mahomes is able to throw for 255 yards and a touchdown while he was in the game. He's going into concussion protocol. Of course, I hope everything is all right with him. But this will be a chance for the Kansas City Chiefs to host a very, very formidable Buffalo Bills team at home for a chance to go to the Super Bowl yet again. This is the 3rd time as the starting quarterback that Patrick Mahomes has made the AFC Championship game. He could win 2 out of the 3 of them. And this is the chance for the Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning champions, to make a run at going back-to-back for it. These are the final 4 teams that are left in the NFL that are competing for the title, and these are very, very impressive games. On one hand, you have 2 of the greatest quarterbacks that have ever played in the history of the game, and Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. And you have quite possibly 2 of the best young quarterbacks in the AFC, one of which has already won a championship and is the highest paid athlete in sports history, and one is a 1-year a 1-year Pro Bowler looking to prove himself, and this is the stage for him to do so. You have 2 incredible rosters in the AFC that are just going to go head to head, and in the NFC, it just looks like it's going to come down just to incredible strategy and just late game heroics. This is going to be an incredible round of conference championship football. And going into the AFC, if I were to guess who would win that game, I think it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs because they've been there before, and I think because these two rosters are very evenly matched, I think the advantage always usually goes to the team that's more experienced, and the Chiefs are at home, so I think the Chiefs win. So I'm guessing a Chiefs-Packers Super Bowl, which is a rematch of the first Super Bowl. But with that said, I want to thank everyone once again for listening to all 8.5 minutes of this piece. I hope all is well. And following next week's matchups, I'm going to do a preview for the Super Bowl, where of course it's kind of crazy because I've covered this entire season from week 1 up until now, and it's been incredible watching it unfold. And now it's just these 4 teams, and all 4 of these teams has a 25% chance of winning the Super Bowl, the best chance that they've had all year. So, I mean, this is definitely the opportunity to seize if you're any one of these teams. But once again, I'll get into that once these AFC and NFC Championship games are played. And with that said, I hope all is well, and I'll catch you next week. Thanks once again, and peace out.